Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We've got a truly fascinating journey ahead of us. We're going to trace a path that starts in the deep, contemplative waters of poetic philosophy and leads straight into the absolute grit of global development strategy. It's really rare to see the artistic and the analytical blend together so seamlessly, but as you'll see, the material we're unpacking today does exactly that. So get comfortable and let's explore how words on a page can literally shape real-world transformation. Okay, I want you to just sit with this thought for a second. Wherever deep sea flows, big fish can swim. This is the profound opening line from a piece by the author Oluyomi Oladevid, and it just perfectly sets the tone for the insights we're about to uncover. It's this beautiful, metaphorical reminder that our environment completely dictates our capacity. If you want big ideas and monumental progress, well, you have to create the deep waters, the right conditions for them to actually thrive. Section 1. The Poetry of Policy. Okay, let's dive into this and see how she unpacks this compact poetic wisdom. So, when we look closely at her piece titled Culling Culture, what's honestly mind-blowing is how she uses these incredibly short poetic lines to outline massive societal frameworks. She doesn't need a 100-page white paper to get her point across. She breaks down her first major dichotomy right off the bat. On one hand, she states, wherever education goes, culture comes. She's showing us that education is the active vehicle for spreading our very identity and human refinement. But right next to it, she places this stark, super uncomfortable warning. Wherever corruption goes, pigs can wallow. Yikes, right? It's a visceral, unforgettable image of decay. She isn't just writing nice verses. She's diagnosing the health of a society, contrasting the light of learning directly against the filth of corruption. And she doesn't stop there. Let's see how she builds on this with her next pairing. She writes, wherever chaos goes, poverty comes, and pits that directly against wherever peace goes, development comes. This brilliantly illustrates the stark reality of governance and economics. Without stability, progress is basically just an illusion. She makes it crystal clear that peace is not just some abstract, feel-good ideal. No, it is the absolute fundamental prerequisite for any real lasting development. So, what does this all mean? When we distill her poem down to its ultimate thesis, we get this incredibly clear cause and effect triad. Education propagates culture. Corruption entrenches poverty. Peace promotes progress. Now, why does this matter to us? Because whether you're looking at local community building, national politics, or global international relations, these three pillars hold entirely true. She's given us a really direct, societal-level lens to evaluate the entire world around us. Section 2, Meet Oluyomi Oladevid. Let's actually meet the author behind these words. You know, to really grasp the gravity of this philosophy, we have to know who is behind it. Her core mission statement is beautifully direct. She says, I am a Nigerian and I love people. Her motivations absolutely do not stem from a desire for academic accolades or anything like that. They stem from a deep personal dedication to her roots and just a profound love for humanity. This completely grounds her work. She is writing for her people and for the world from a place of intense authenticity. And because she loves people so much, her goals stretch way, way beyond just writing poetry. Her focus areas are incredibly heavy-hitting. She's looking at global development and transformation. She's dedicated to generating actual real-world solutions, influencing hard policy and strategy, and providing clarity in an incredibly noisy world. She actively seeks to take those poetic truths about peace and education that we just talked about and turn them into concrete, actionable strategies. But you might be wondering, what exactly is the engine fueling this massive, ambitious undertaking? Well, she provides the answer herself with this quote, "My Father God owns and rules the universe. He is the wheel within my wheels." She credits her deep, unwavering faith as the foundational driving force and the guiding mechanism behind all her work and all her perspectives. It's the internal compass that keeps her laser-focused on justice, development, and truth. Section 3, A Decade of Insights. Let's take a look at the bigger picture. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer, staggering volume of her writing over nearly 10 years. It's a story of explosive growth. Back in 2014, she published just 3 posts. It was a pretty modest start. But then, look at that acceleration. By 2021, she jumps to 146 posts. In 2022, 161. And then, as we move into 2023, the graph absolutely spikes. 294. I really want to emphasize this exact number. That is how many posts, insights, and briefs she published in 2023 alone. That's practically a post every single day. This highlights a relentless commitment and a truly prolific dedication to sharing her worldview. She isn't just passively observing the world. She is actively doing the intellectual heavy lifting to help shape it. Section 4, Nigeria and Global Transformation. So how exactly does she take these deeply held philosophical and spiritual beliefs and apply them to the real-world grit of data, governance, and policy? How does the poet become the strategist? Well, this comparison perfectly captures her unique duality. On one side, we have titles of her work from January 2023 that are highly poetic and spiritual. Deep calls deep, Zion is awake, power belongs to the Most High. But right alongside them, in that exact same month, we see hard policy and strategy. DFIs and transparency watchdogs, nutrition security is a global priority, platform utility safeguards. She effortlessly bridges that gap, proving that you can absolutely have a deeply spiritual worldview while engaging rigorously with practical global development strategy. I mean, just look at these specific empirical data points from her archive. She's diving into the mechanics of development finance institutions, that's what DFIs stand for, and the watchdogs that keep them honest. She's tackling global nutrition security and the digital complexities of platform utility safeguards. And these aren't just buzzwords, right? Nutrition security, for instance, is the absolute bedrock of a functioning economy, because a population that cannot feed itself simply cannot educate itself or build infrastructure. She's even analyzing project management realities with pieces like Project are time poor. She's tackling concrete, highly complex global issues head-on, bringing that exact same clarity she uses in her poetry straight into the world of international development. And, through all of this intense global analysis, she manages to maintain this incredible optimism and a strategic focus on her home country's future. Titles like Nigeria is Emerging and When Princes Lead, Nigeria Wins show exactly how she connects her initial bio, her love for her people, straight back to her broader vision for sustainable development. She believes wholeheartedly in the progress of Nigeria when it's guided by the right leadership and the right cultural values. Which leaves us with a pretty fascinating final thought to chew on. We started with her poetic thesis, Peace Promotes Progress. So looking at her relentless output, her strategic mind, and her deeply rooted faith, we really have to ask, if peace indeed promotes progress, how will her unique blend of insights continue to shape the next decade of global development? It's a hugely provocative question, and I highly encourage you to dive into her archives to see the answers she is building every single day. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time as we keep learning together.